What bring your voice from within, make yourself available to the world and speak up. I would like to welcome you on our daily show, and I will pass it on to Claudia to introduce herself, and then you will come back to me and I'll introduce myself at last. Claudia, please do introduce yourself.
Of course. Well, hello everyone and welcome as well to today's show. I'm Claudia Pruscher and I'm an intuitive theta healer, and theta healing is an energy healing modality founded approximately 25 years ago, and it's a great tool in regards to identifying our self-limiting beliefs, and not just the beliefs. It's a very quick tool to see and to find the cause at the root cause of the challenge or the block, whatever you might go through. And that's the beauty of it. It's very fast and quick. You don't have to say mantras, affirmations for a month. You don't have to work on yourself for a long time of period. Once you identify the cause of the challenge, you can change it and bring new empowering beliefs in, so that you can go afterwards out and go for your dreams and goals and desires. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal.
Yeah, over to you, Evelyn.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon. EvellenVanEs is my name, based in the Netherlands, and I work as an international business and life coach, sparring partner, and speaker, and I'm a published author of this book, Be Relentlessly Yourself. And what I do is I help my clients to get to the core of their being, because it's all about learning how to find that source that is the foundation of your authenticity and the foundation of everything that you do in life, because it's all about learning how to manifest ourselves instead of trying to manifest what we want in life. And I do that with the result that you have that feeling of fulfillment, and that you stop having that nagging question that so many people have about there must be something better out there. Or you still have that question is, what is it really that I want in life? And once you get to a point where you have a clear purpose in life and you thrive from there on, that's what life is all about. And so I'm passing on the baton to Amanda to introduce herself.
Well, it's bright and early in Canada. It's like 6 a.m. I am a teacher, an author, and an illustrator. And I help people find their own unique creative capacities within themselves, because I believe that everyone is creative and has their own unique passions where they can thrive once they find their own unique creative capacity. It is summer here, so I'm getting up bright and early, even though I don't have to work, just to be on the talk show today, because I'm so passionate about the work that we do here. On to you, Kamal.
Thank you very much, Amanda and Evelyn and Claudia. So what do I do for a change? Let me ask you this. Do you perhaps have that feeling of being stuck in a hamster wheel, always grinding, always running, with no sense of direction and a lack of fulfillment in your life? To explain this a little bit deeper, what is life? What does it mean? Why are you here? Some people call it raison d'être, others call it ikigai, I call it purpose or purposes. And an average between 89 to 94% of people live their life without questioning their existence, without questioning their life, why they're here, not delving deeper into who they are. They just live life as it is. So if you find yourself there, with a feeling of being lost and not knowing where to go, I am Kamalamer. I am a certified NLP trainer, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and I specialize in life purpose coaching. I use a combination of ancient Egyptian wisdom as well as neuro-linguistic programming to help you create a foundation to a life of harmony, balance, and purpose. So beyond that, and beyond the greetings to everyone watching and whoever's going to be watching it today, the topic today is about cultivating your own energy. An interesting topic that perhaps not a lot understand. What does it mean to cultivate your own energy? How can you stop somebody from draining your energy? They are called sometimes energy vampires, or negative people around you, whatever you may call it. And that topic affects a lot of people around us, especially empaths, but not only empaths because they understand what's happening, but anybody, whether they're in the business world or in their personal life. So I would like Claudia to introduce the subject, since you chose the topic. Talk about it a little bit and let us know a tiny introduction, and then we can go around and hear each other.
Yes, absolutely. Very good as well in regards to how to conserve as well your energy. We can chat about this a bit later. Actually, I came up with this energy because of me being the healer. I've got my clients throughout the day. I did sign up to do a webinar or Facebook Live, and then you might not feel it, you know, in regards to yourself. You don't feel you want to show up and to be there for them, because obviously as well, everyone has their own stuff going on and the days are changing all the time as well for us. So this was the initial way how I came across for me, how I can best just like have my energy as well quite up high. And to be honest as well, to begin with, it's so easy to start with the main common things, you know, like get your rest, get the sleep and the working out and the nutrition and the hydration. So just like very basic things you have to give yourself. So in regards to that, you feel good, because when you feel good, then you can show up and be there for the friends or the partner, the kids and the clients as well. And so that you actually go into this webinar, the Facebook Live, whatever it is, and be there your fullest and best version, you know. So just like some basic things I am going to throw in to begin with. What about you, Amanda? How do you do this in regards to have your energy level up high so that you can be the best version of yourself throughout the days? Yeah.
The things that I do personally would be go to yoga. Also to check in with myself, to check in with where, because I'm an empath, so I feel energy from other people. To check in with myself and figure out, is it my energy or is it someone else's energy outside that is causing me to feel anxious or stressed or flustered. Or also like that joy too, that empaths can feel the joy and the energy and just bring that on as well. I think that other things that I do is journaling, going for walks, being in nature. I live very close to the Rocky Mountains, so going out to the mountains is something that can really help me reconnect and feel grounded. Also, gardening is something that just like helps so much with connecting your energy. So I sometimes feel like when people are in that like constant or like anxious state, that they just have to redirect their energy onto something else and to catch themselves and say, oh, I'm feeling this way. What can I do to redirect that energy? So could I, if you're like stuck in your house or if you're busy at work, like could you take a 15-minute break and just go and meditate? Or could you take a breath and go for a walk? Can you go see an energy healer? I'm also a Reiki practitioner, so I have that as well that can help. And when I went through my divorce years ago, that's something that I started learning about was energy healing, and I found that a combination of Western medicine and Western lines of thinking, along with the Eastern medicine and energy healing, is something that helped me so much in my healing journey, because I don't think that there's one specific way. Like a pill is not going to help you if you're not dealing with it's just a band-aid solution, right? So there's so many other things that come into the things that you're struggling with, and life has its ups and downs like this all the time, right? Where you're feeling really good, things are going really well, and then something can happen and you end up in a low again, and then you start climbing back up, but once you have those tools, you're able to climb up much faster than you were when you were stuck for a long time in at a different point in your life. And once you have tools and strategies and practitioners and different people in your life that you can go to when you're recognizing that your energy is low. So for me, when I recognize that I'm feeling that way, one thing that I'll do is I'll go to my Reiki practitioner or massage therapist and be like, I need my energy cleared. I need to get out and do things in it. But it really is self-awareness. And I think self-awareness of when you need help or when you can also take the tools that you have to redirect your energy and to clear those things that are blocking you in your life. What about you, Evelyn?
Yeah, I love that. Actually, what you just mentioned, Amanda, about self-awareness, because I think that being able to cultivate your own energy, you have to work on the growth of your self-awareness and know what it is that really drains your energy or is potential drain for energy, and also know what it is that really helps you to recharge your battery. And I think that for me, for example, since a while, actually, I start my mornings always with, just doing a ritual, walking around the house, and I walk outside bare feet on the grass. I do my writing. I do a little bit of reading. And then I go out for either a walk or a run. And I start my meetings not before 10 a.m. in the morning. And every once in a while, there is an exception, but that's because I just deliberately want to do that, or there is no other option, maybe because of time frames or whatever, time zones. But that really helps me because I know that whatever way I wake up, sometimes, I feel awesome, and other days I feel just a little bit more neutral. I know that this way of starting my day is an extremely wonderful way for me to really tap into my core being and to really stay true to myself and to stay in my own energy. And also that is a wonderful way how I can protect myself from anything that is happening during the day, to tap into that. And by growing my own self-awareness, for example, just before we got into this meeting, because I have another interview this afternoon and some other meetings that I have, I had a crazy hectic day yesterday. Some things happened, and I know exactly what to do just to give myself a 20-minute break. I don't even have to meditate, but I just lie on the floor and I just completely relax. Mm-hmm. And that's just my own mini healing journey that I go through, how I can, get back into my energy. So it's a matter of really being that observer and listening to your body and acting on it. Because I think so many people do get the signs of our body, then that they're out of their energy or something happens, but then it's a matter of fact of acting upon it and doing something about it to get into that mode of resetting and getting back to your core being. So I'm going to pass on the baton. Yeah, come on.
I love that how you started your day with saying, I go outside and I walk barefooted on the grass, right? That grounding yourself right when you wake up. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I'm up, I'm out. But that process of grounding yourself to your day, to your waking up routine, whatever it is. And of course, Claudia, that presentation about the energy, about how the energies affect us, how we constantly see these or feel them in a sense, but we're not aware of them, right? And Amanda, drawing and the art and how it helps you just connect again with yourself. And we're all speaking in the same terms here, right? I have the same thing. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I'm one of those people that doesn't sleep a lot. So I go to bed around 1 o'clock, and then I'm up at like 4 or 5 o'clock. And that's all the sleep I need, right? But it's how you process your starting day that makes a difference in your energy, right? I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I have my gratitudes. I'm thankful, no phone. I do my stuff. My kids usually get up around 7:30 in the morning when I have them. So I'm ready when they are up, right? So that I've had my morning, I've had my time, I've had my relaxing time. I'm like, okay, I'm human. Now I can handle the little monsters. That's okay. But I think it's very important to ground yourself, especially in the morning. Know how start your day in a way that will bring you some sort of joy, some sort of, I'm going to say, positive energy, some sort of relaxation, mindful enjoyment in the day, so that whatever happens, you can still have that perception that we call in NLP. It's just an event in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be positive or negative. It's just an event that occurs in your life, and you can process that event by having it be something energetic, something that can change your life, something that you can learn from, instead of saying, oh, what a negative day, what a bad day, how horrible this is. Because you had already that process of knowing where your day is going in the morning, right? I think that's my opinion on that perspective, and that's how I start my day. And usually that same energy during the day, I avoid as much as possible people that I know will drain my energy. Like Amanda, I'm also an empath, but I've worked so hard on my boundaries that I can actually seem like a robot. I block those feelings completely, but they're not blocked. They're still there. I can feel it around me. And the only thing that I do now that I've learned is, you know what? You can keep that. That's your gift to the world from your perspective. I'm not ready to accept that gift of yours, but I'm grateful for whatever is happening. So I think that's a very nice introduction from all of us about this subject. Now, I'm going to go to you, Claudia, and ask you. Of course, please feel free to jump in, anyone. But how does one heal that energy when one comes through challenging times, when one is going through these challenging times?
I think this is again individual and personal. In regards to me, I don't like to dwell much onto these energies, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I see what it is, and then instead of the challenge, I'm swapping to look into the solution. How can I change the story or the situation? So the solution, because I just don't like to dwell too long in that sort of energy. So I change around, and then I try as quick as I can. It's not always possible, depending what it is, obviously, if it's very emotional and so on, but usually try to identify the cause and look at the solution rather than stay in the story, because we can end up staying in the story, and it can go on, and then actually as well we just make it bigger and bigger. So rather focus on the solution. What about you, Evelyn?
Well, it's as you said, it's very individual, and I think that what the subtitle of my book actually is Take on Life, because for me it is, once there is something that is hugely impactful in your life, something that is extremely challenging, these emotions and everything that happens in your life is there for a specific reason. So I've experienced that it is really good to sometimes stay in what it is, and to be able to look at it quietly, instead of just really, trying to quickly go into a solution or pushing it away, because there is a reason why it's there. And I think that helps you to really understand and to grow your self-awareness, and to learn about yourself, and to see what is happening. And once you and we've all been in situations like that, and I think that last time I was in a hugely impactful situation myself was about 2 years ago, and I was in deep pain about something impactful that happened in my life, and I felt really miserable, but I allowed myself to really feel that emotion and to share it. And by being able to share slowly, I was able to step back and be that observer, and to see what was happening and how I was reacting on it, so I can learn about myself, and to see how I can go beyond my ego, how I can understand how I can help myself and heal myself. So this is a little bit of a different way, but I think, there is no one way. It is all about dealing what comes at you and always taking the responsibility, because everything that we are faced with in life, we have an own responsibility. And I think that's something I wanted to share. So passing on to anyone who wants to pick it up.
Can I just say something? Absolutely. In regards to the solutions, I was thinking in something just not very meaningful. You just had a chat with a neighbor and she's upset about something, complaining about something, just like whatever it is, small things. And rather than just being stuck in there, this is what I meant, then I focus on the solution. How can I just redirect my mind? So, but obviously, depending what it is, I totally agree as well. It's there to show us something. Absolutely. Absolutely, Evelyn.
I'm going to tag on to what Kamal said about any event in your life being neither positive nor negative, because I always think of that we're the ones who decide whether something in our life is positive or negative, and two, that I try to look at any situation as a learning opportunity. And so when I come to something, whether it is in other people's view as positive or negative, I always view it as a learning opportunity. And as a teacher, I always try to instill that belief in other people too. So if you're struggling with something, well, this isn't negative, it's actually an opportunity to learn. And so when you can change your mindset from this is horrible, or even in a good situation, it's still an opportunity to learn. And it's not necessarily positive or negative, it's our minds that decide that. And so I try to teach the kids that it's okay to quote unquote fail, because it becomes a learning opportunity. One of when I went through my divorce, I tell people I was divorced to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'd be like, I'm not. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about who I am. I became a stronger person. I would have never been able to achieve what I have achieved in my life if I continued along the path of an unhealthy marriage. And so I'm also able to help so many other people by having gone through what I've gone through. And so when people view divorce as a negative, I say that's not the case at all. It's actually a learning opportunity for you to find out about yourself, for you to learn alongside your children if there are children involved. It's an opportunity for you to grow. And so many people view certain things as like a stigma or a negative thing in your life, but really they're not. They're an opportunity for you to grow and learn and become a better version of yourself, and to find what you need within yourself. And so many times our world has these views of even the pandemic. The pandemic, actually, so many positive things have come out of it. There's so many things that we can learn about ourselves from what we've been through. And for me, working from home is not my favorite thing. Teaching my daughter at home by myself while I'm also teaching is not the best thing for us as a family. Those are things that I've learned. I've learned that she does much better in school with kids, that she is a social child, and that she learns so much better by being in a classroom. I've learned that there are some kids that absolutely thrive with online learning, whereas other kids struggle so much with having to learn online. And I think as adults as well, every single person in the world has come out of this pandemic from learning something. And I think we really need to value that, because there are so many things that we've learned. There are things that have changed within the school system that are actually really positive that have come out of this. Like, the classrooms are much cleaner than they ever were before. There are some things that worked really, really well, that because of the changes that we had to do, even the learning online and getting parents to learn online and having more communication from parents and teachers, those are all things that are really, really positive that have come out of this. Or are learning opportunities for everyone. And I think that switch has showed everyone how resilient we can all be as well. We're all come out of this situation being more resilient.
Absolutely. You know, Amanda, I'm going to agree with you, which I don't usually agree with a lot of people, but no. What I'm saying is that first of all, let me say, fail. For anybody who's watching, there is no such thing as failure. Fail is first attempt in learning. And even if you do something and you do it again and you do it again, you're just doing it for the first time in a different way. Just like, what's his name now? Edison, right? Over 1,000 times trying to create the light bulb. But he says he never failed. He just found 1,000 ways not to create the light bulb. But anyway, from these learning opportunities that we all shared, right? We said we're all individuals. We're all very subjective to the way we take on challenges in our life. And we've all expressed them in different ways. Amanda, you with the divorce. Evelyn, you with the difficult time in your life. I'm sure Claudia as well, you've had a difficult time or an event that caused you to think or challenge yourself in a very different way. And it's very important to realize how that energy, that state of energy that we are in, I believe, can affect your future. Not only the present, because in that moment, it's not that easy to ground yourself. It's not that easy to realize, you know what, I'm in a dump. I want to see myself in the future. I want to manage this energy, my mental state, my mindset, so that my future becomes better. It takes a little bit of time. Let's call it the grief period, right? When you're talking about divorce, Amanda, I was in my head laughing because I've gone through divorce as well, and then people say exactly the same thing and go like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but no, don't be sorry. It's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I am so happy that it happened, because without it, I wouldn't have been where I am today. Whatever situation you have gone through in your life was there to make of you the person that you are today. Now, if you decide and choose not to take that as a learning opportunity, if you decide to not use that as an energy booster for your life in the future, that is your choice again. And those of us that do use these moments in our life to teach us, to learn, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's divorce, whether it's struggling with life, whether it's a business that went down, whether it is whatever it may be in life, the loss of a loved one even. And I know this might sound a little bit cruel, but losing someone, it has a positive effect for you. It has some sort of outcome for you. But we are humans, and we see this negative perception of everything, that this is here because it hurt me. Yes, there is some kind of hurt that has been created. But the outcome of that has a positive outcome, no matter how you view it. You are just not taking in that energy, that moment of reflection, to allow it to grow within you and to make your life more eventful. But again, that's my perception as you ladies. I have, I'm sure we've all had these moments in our life that we thought, you know what, this is it, right? This is I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And then maybe a day, a month later, you have that click in your mind, is that, oh my God, I've lost those weeks just because I was doing that. But no, you didn't lose them. You needed to go through that process for you to learn. And since we're still talking about the energy, I'm wondering now, whoever wants to answer, right? Whoever wants to start.
Before you do that, I just want to share one brief thing, Kamal, is that I was just kind of pondering over it, is that I do recognize that people tend to, fill in a story about, oh, I'm so sorry about something that had happened. And, and I'm it's partly maybe just an automatic way how they're printed and how to react, instead of really thinking about what they say. Or is it maybe about their own fear of pain, or not wanting to, look at the pain and face it and heal it? So there's so many ways And it's usually, it says more about the person that makes the comment than it says about the one that it's, you know, applicable to. And I think that's interesting. So I think, how would it be if we would just ask a person like that says something like that to you, that we would ask them, oh, tell me what is on your mind? What idea, what emotions do you have with it? Just to get into a wonderful conversation, actually, to find out why someone says that without offending them, but just opening up a wonderful conversation to find out what is it underneath there, why you're doing that. So I was just thinking about this, so I just wanted to share this.
You know what? I love that you shared that, because okay, so I'm going to share a little bit, if you don't mind. If you don't want to share, you don't have to. I'll say it from my perspective. Now, there was something that happened yesterday, right? And somebody had a situation that was a bit daunting. And my automatic reaction was also to say, oh, I'm sorry that you went through that. But then the second thing was, you know what? I actually hope that everything is okay. But the reason behind that was, okay, this was tough. That person maybe needs some time to grow through that situation, to let it go, to go through a different thing. And the opportunity will come later to ask, what happened? Is everything okay? How did you manage it? Exactly like you're talking about. Sometimes the connection that you have with a person is either very, very acquaint-like, or it's in the start of a relationship. That is, it's always a relationship, but it's in the start of it. If it's deeper, sometimes you find that possibility to go, you know what? I want to know how it was. Please tell me about it. I'm curious. And I love that you brought this up, because it triggered me to think about yesterday. So thank you very much. But let me ask everybody here. Now, we're talking about energy. We're talking about moments that drain you in life. What about people that drain you? What about, how does one, of course, we're all different, but how do we deal with these people that drain your energy? I mean, you have those people that as soon as you meet, you're like, oh my God, and you haven't even said hello. Or you have those people that you stay there, you don't feel that anything is wrong, and midway through that conversation, you're like, I need to leave. I mean, that's me, at least, right? I'm like, you know what? Thank you. I have to have this conversation another time. I gotta go. But how does one deal with this? Anybody, whoever wants to answer.
I think that learning to set boundaries is something that's really important, especially with people that are in your life that are draining your energy. And it can be friends, it can be family members, it can be anyone in your life. It can even be coworkers, or even your children. You need to learn to set healthy boundaries for you that are going to work. And sometimes, especially with children, those boundaries are going to change all the time as they learn and grow and become their own individual selves. That setting healthy boundaries is something that's really, really important. And nobody else has to agree with your boundaries. Whether they like them or not, they're still your boundaries. And you need to be able to, you can't control how other people are going to behave. So if you set a boundary and they get mad and blow up and stop talking to you, that's okay. That's their choice. But you're setting a healthy boundary for you. And so I think that that's something that's so important, is to learn what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, and limit the amount of time that you're spending with those people that are really draining your energy. And I see that in classrooms all the time. There are kids that drain other people's energy, and sometimes they just need to have limited time with those certain kids, especially certain children. Like, they cannot be in a group together. There are certain kids that I will make sure I never put in the same group together, because they will not only drain each other's energy, but they will drain my energy as the teacher as well. And I think in life we have to really recognize that, as to who are those people that I feel vibrant and alive and inspired by, and spend more time with those people. Spend more time, even if those people live halfway across the world, find a way to spend more time where you're getting inspired by them, rather than spending time with people who are going to drag you down or make you feel inferior, or tell you that your ideas are not, or that you have no chance at doing something. One time well, I have a master's degree in education, and when I decided to take my master's, my parents actually said to me, "Why are you going to take that if you're not going to become a principal?" And I said, "Because I want to learn." And they're like, "Well, that's a waste of money. That's stupid." And I was like, "Well, but I'm so grateful that I took my master's, because it gave me confidence, gave me the ability to learn how to speak in front of people. It gave me huge technology abilities that I would have never had before, and confidence on building websites and different things, because I took that course. And whether I ever become a principal or not, I still am so grateful for the decision that I made. And yet there are some people in my life that were like, "Why are you taking that if you don't want to become a principal?" And so you just need to limit your time with people like that, because if you want to write a book or business, there are going to be people in your life, no matter what, that are going to try to pull you down and say that isn't a good idea, or why are you doing that? And it's so important to surround yourself with people that are like, "Yeah, do it, try it. No matter what, you're going to learn something from this." And that's what's the most wonderful thing about it, is no matter what you do, is it gives you an opportunity to learn.
Can I say something? Yeah. I totally agree as well with Amanda, and learning to set your boundaries. It's always going to come. You will always attract situations where you can practice it until you become really good at it, confident, without even feeling guilty or selfish or rude even. So, and I like the quote of Jim Rohn in regards to, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most your time with, So same as well as you in regards to the business as well. I started last year. It was a new experience, a new time. So I made sure to surround myself with the cheerleaders rather than the naysayers. So can as well relate to this, absolutely. What about you, Evelyn?
Well, yes, and I think what is interesting to also look at it, because I often have people in my practice where they struggle with people that are not as easy to completely leave behind, because it's either their partner that they're married to, or maybe their boyfriend, girlfriend, or maybe one of their best friends, or even family. And I think that makes them feel like they're really in a complicated situation, because with friends, it's in the end, it's quite easy, because you can set your boundaries, you can make your choices, and you can just let some friendships go, out of love for the other, but especially for yourself, because it just doesn't serve you, and it just doesn't help you with where you are today. But dealing with family members, maybe parents, Amanda, you just mentioned an example of maybe your parents that were not really enthusiastic, as to speak, about your choice of doing a master degree. And I think that even then, it's important to realize that you have a choice in life. You have a choice in life how to shape that relationship, and how to put it in a certain perspective, in a way where it does not bother you, and where it does not drain your energy. And of course, if it's your immediate partner, it completely depends on how strongly it affects you. And it is important that you have a clear picture on what the trade is in the relationship, because it's lovely to have a wonderful relationship where you're madly in love with the other, but there always is a trade in a good relationship where you serve the other one and the other one serves you. And I think that that is key in any kind of relationship. It doesn't matter if it's, like we are here as more of colleagues in this talk show, or with your partner, or with your kids or your parents, to have clarity on what that trade is. So I just wanted to bring up this close relationships that are sometimes a little bit more tricky when we're talking about setting boundaries and how to keep your energy up. So
that's you know what, I'm going to this part of the family members especially, it is very tricky, yes. However, there comes a time in life where one, in a sense, I'm going to use that word though, one must decide over one's own well-being than a relationship, no matter who that person is. I know people that have not cut off in a sense, but they have pushed away their own children because it is too taxing on their health. And the communication that happens is basically through a third person or not directly, so that that impact is not massive. And it's okay. And I believe so. I think it's okay. If a relationship, like you're saying, it's a trade-off, right? Very rarely will you find ever a relationship that is built on unconditional love. Very rarely. We are humans at the end of the day, and our love, even with children, sadly, it does have certain conditions. The condition of following the rules, the condition of living by these principles. We all set conditions in life as humans. And whether we like it or not, reaching that stage of unconditional love with a person is not that easy as people believe it is. But moving beyond that part, finding that when you are in a relationship, whatever level it is, whether it's very intimate, a partner, a life partner, a person that you're with, boyfriend, girlfriend, children, parents, there comes a choice, like everybody is saying here. Are you going to choose your well-being, your health, your mental well-being even, over that relationship? Is it worth it? Is the trade-off worth it? You're talking about a trade-off, Evelyn, and I agree with you. Every relationship has a trade-off. Whether there is a trade of love, of gifts, of you complete me. We're going to use that that famous quote, but it's the sense of being with somebody. There's something that you offer that the person wants, basically. It's a trade. Now, if that trade is too much, is it worth it? That's my question.
I think that sometimes people think that if you set a boundary with someone, that's like means that you don't love them anymore. But I don't think that's the case at all. Even with your children, even if you stop talking to your children because you have to set a healthy boundary for yourself, it doesn't mean that you don't love them. You can definitely love somebody from afar, but yet set clear, healthy boundaries for yourself. And I think that's something that we really need to consider. Just because you're setting a boundary with somebody doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore. Just because you divorce someone doesn't mean that you can't, in some capacity, love them in some way. Like my daughter one time came home and she's like, "My daddy hates you," and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Do you hate him?" And I said, "No. I will always find somewhere in my heart to love your dad, because without him, I wouldn't have you."
Exactly.
And so I always say that no matter what, you can find love for people, because you can find love for humans, you can find love for places, you can find love for animals within yourself, but still set clear, healthy boundaries. Like, you may love dogs but be allergic to them, so you don't go near them, right? Like, you still have to set those healthy boundaries for yourself, but you can love something from afar and send them love and send them healing and wish them the absolute best in the world, but still have a clear boundary for yourself. And I think sometimes when people think about boundaries, they think, "Oh, I'm just going to cut them out of my life and I'm not going to care anymore." But that's not the case at all. You can still love them very, very much, but set a clear boundary for yourself. And I think that's something that we need to learn how to do better, especially people who are empathic like myself.
Well, in regards to the family members, it's as well, it's okay to let them to know as well, explain, the boundaries, how you feel about it, what you need, what's important, and that you still love them. Absolutely. So they don't feel like separated or cut off from you. So absolutely. Yeah. So let them know. Yeah. It's just something. Yeah.
No, I'm very grateful that you both brought up that part, that you can love somebody, but it doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. You can set up the boundaries and still love somebody, because it ties very well within that, how to cultivate your energy, right? And speaking of cultivating your energy, we spoke about how we start our day. But since we're coming close to the end here, I'm interested in hearing what you would recommend for somebody to actually cultivate a sense of personal energy, it will tie into personal boundary energy, so that they can take something out of this conversation that we've been having now for 45 minutes, soon an hour, and give them something to grow with, in a sense, to grow their energy and cultivate it. Whoever, go ahead, jump in.
Sure. Well, I think it's good to know yourself first of all, yeah? Get to know you, and then you know as well your days and the triggers and the kind of situation or the mood you are in. So this is where it comes first, to get to know you. What do you say, Amanda?
Oh, and actually, can I come back? Because something was just on my mind, is that by being able to draw boundaries, to get back to that, is not only that we serve ourselves, but in the end, it's a gift for the other person. Because I think it's that staying true to yourself, and from there on acting on it, and doing what feels good and what doesn't feel good. We are not responsible for the other person. We're not responsible for the right reaction of the other person or whatever happens there. And that sometimes, I run into conversation with people in my practice where they have feelings of feeling guilty, or they feel bad about, but it's all from a source of having a certain script in their own mind and telling a story where you don't even know if that's the story, what's there. And that's really dangerous, to really get carried away by filling in something for the other person, but you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what's in their life. So again, as I mentioned before, take the responsibility for your own life, and from there on act upon it. And everybody else and has a responsibility. And by drawing a line, sometimes people in the end will take a little bit of time, will be extremely grateful for you for doing that, because maybe if you wouldn't have drawn that boundary, they would have never gotten in a situation to kind of cut the tie and get away from a situation where they actually from deep within had the same desire to get out of the situation, but they didn't have the guts, or they didn't have they were afraid, or whatever was on their mind. So it's all a matter of being aware of what the story is that you tell yourself.
One thing that I think is so important is people who blame others for their situation. And especially as adults, you are responsible for your own mental health and the things that are happening in your own life. In the classroom, I always say, if you're pointing fingers at somebody else, there's 3 pointing back at yourself. And so you really have to take a look at what's going on in your life, and what things that happened that you are responsible for. So if you decided to do something or to get into a relationship that wasn't healthy for you, I'm sure if you look back, there are steps along the way that you could have been like, oh, I should have left then, or oh, this was the time where I should have set a healthier, clearer boundary for myself. And I think that sometimes we really need to look at ourselves and take the steps to take care of our own mental health, because the only person who's responsible for your own mental health is you. And you need to is it self-help books? Is it going to counseling? Is it starting to take medication? Is it learning how to meditate? Is it going to yoga? Is it finding a hobby that inspires you, that is going to get you out of your funk? But in the end, you are responsible for you. And you can't blame anybody else for the situation that you're in, because along the way, you always have a choice. And each and every day, you have a choice to become a better version of yourself.
Definitely. And I'm going to say these boundaries that we set for ourselves, they're very, very important. And people that get mad or upset with you, it really doesn't matter. On the long run, it's a benefit for them. It's a benefit for you. It's important to be able to be okay with whomever comes into your life or whomever leaves your life. And that story that we tell ourselves, Evelyn, it is absolutely crucial for our well-being, because that actually will build the energy that you want in your life. It will put you either in that blame frame, in that victimized person. Oh, it's their fault that the relationship didn't work. Oh, it's their fault that I haven't succeeded at that. No, we're all to blame for our own life and choices. Nobody else. Some people can lead us there, but it's still our choice to go with them. And we spoke about how people mislead us or guide us, right? And yes, there are signs all the time in our life, whether in any relationship, that tells you, hello, get out, or boundaries, or whatever it may be. But we ignore to look at them. We ignore these signs because why? We're not in tune with ourselves. In my opinion, at least, we're not in tune and aware of who we are, who we want to be, and how we want our life to be. And that is our energy. And if you don't know that, if you are not aware of who you are, if you don't have, whether it's meaning, raison d'être, purpose, ikigai, if you don't know why you are doing what you are doing, if you are not aware of your behaviors, why there's this learning process, if you are not aware of the messages that you are receiving left, right, and center from the universe, then how do you want to be able to cultivate your own energy and set healthy boundaries to yourself? So that's my take on this perspective. And I would recommend people to look into what they want in their life before they start looking into cultivating their own energy, because that energy starts from within. I've said it before, life doesn't start outside of you or around you, life starts within you. You are the start of life. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I just wanted to add into what you guys were saying about being responsible for you and looking into who it is, those 5 people that are your 5 closest people, your combination of those. And if you look at those 5 specific people that are closest to you and you're like, ooh, I'm not super happy about, or like, wow, that was kind of a slap in the face. You have the opportunity today to change that, to start surrounding yourself with other people who inspire you. And as you start to change your energy, you will attract other people who have that same higher level of energy, who are inspiring. And as soon as you start taking those steps, even if you're like, I have nobody in my life who inspires me, once you start to take those steps, those people will show up in your life in ways that you never thought possible. And I think that's something that's so important for people to learn, is that once you start taking the steps to become a better version of yourself, and once you start taking those steps to change your vibe attracts your tribe. And so once you start becoming relentlessly yourself, like your book says, you will start attracting those people who also are relentlessly and completely authentically themselves. And that, I think, is something that's so powerful, is that we have the choice each and every day to attract new, positive, loving people into our life, or people who've been out of your life for a while who come back in and can help you be a better version of yourself as well, and help you reach those steps that people come into your life at exactly the right moment for you to learn and grow and become a better version of yourself. And I think that that's something that's so important, is like, if those people that are closest to you are not inspiring, once you start taking those steps to do the direction that you want to go, the people that inspire you will show up, I promise.
Yes,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
close off for today, because
Yeah.
this will be my last comment, because I'll have to hop off. Is that I love that what you just shared, Amanda, and I think it's also what I also write about in my book, is that, you know, some people are in your life for either a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and I still talk to people that are so stuck on the thought as if the last one, the lifetime, is the only one, but it's not. And it's okay. You know, it's okay to have people that are just with you for a certain reason, that you know, that they help you to learn to see something from yourself that you are not able to see. And, you know, and that can be something in a relationship or maybe working together with someone. And once that ends, to be able to look back on it and to see that it's a gift, because without that, you know, as we just talked about earlier, that's a gift. So there are many ways, and embrace it. And that's what I just wanted to add and finish off for tonight. So Claudia, sorry, over to you.
Absolutely, as well. The final thoughts in regards to the universe is never going to take someone or somebody from your life who's supposed to be there, and it's always going to bring in the ones who are serving you, and you have to learn something together and so on. So just trust, you know, absolutely, yeah. It just works by itself as well.
Well, thank you, Evelyn and Claudia and Amanda. I love those final words that you ladies shared. From my side, I would love for you guys to understand who you are. Like Amanda and Evelyn and Claudia have shared, wherever you may be in your life, you have a choice to make. And that choice may be going to counseling, finding a coach that suits you, or a friend or somebody that you can grow with, or a book. But I will tell you from now, a book is not enough, because you have to find somebody that can make you accountable for your actions. Very rarely are we as individuals alone able to be that accountability person for ourselves. But if you are that person, I wish you all the luck. However, find somebody that you can learn from, somebody that can teach you, somebody that can guide you along the way. These people, you will always find them along the way, as long as you are ready. And when you are ready, they will be there for you. That is my wish for everybody who wants to cultivate their energy. I wish for you to find the time for yourselves first. And on behalf of Nkosi Talk Show and everybody here, I wish you a wonderful morning, day, evening, wherever you may be. Thank you very much for today. And until we see you again tomorrow, if you have any questions, put them in. If you want to get in touch with any of the coaches, write down, send us an email, and we will get back to you. Have a lovely day, morning, or evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.